Hey, 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 we are live. Let me add a guest. I am going to invite a dear friend of mine in the yogi community. And hi, everybody. This is Kamiko back at you again. Day 3 of Kwanzaa. Once again, been seeing some outstanding offerings on the channel today. I am here. Hey, Althea, you got it. Yay.
Thank
Was
you.
just
How
well,
are
yeah,
you?
just giving an opening here. So we're together. Awesome. This is day 3 of Kwanzaa, which is Ujima, the principle of Ujima, and all the wonderful offerings that I've been seeing on the channel. I've been let's see, invited to host this evening as a guest host. And yes, speaking about collective work and responsibility, right, which is an amazing opportunity and serious principle for us to talk about. Welcome for those who are just joining us. My name is Kamiko. This is Althea right here with me, another awesome elder in our community. So I want to just give the people a little background. Hey there, welcome and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Um, so, first of all, I was asked to come on and talk about what it means to be an elder in the Black yoga community, because oftentimes, and you know this out there, that we're just not represented, right? Like people think, oh my gosh, people, like people over whatever, 50, 60 years old don't practice yoga or either um, sit down and sleep, or I don't know what people have different ideas about what they think it is, right? So I'm like, I'm like an elder, and every time I think about that, it's like, wow, we've been on this journey, and similarly, I know you for 20 plus years, more than 20 years. And so when I was asked to come on and converse, the young lady who was hosting tonight, she's not feeling well. And she asked me, did I feel comfortable going on alone? I was like, I do, but I don't think that that'd be interesting for people. I really want people to hear from somebody other than me. I want us to
They
have,
want to hear this have a conversation. They want us
yes,
talking back and forth and asking each other questions and what
yes.
does it truly mean to be an elder
Hmm.
in the yoga community and the Black yoga community. And
Hmm.
they want to hear about our experiences, not just from
Yes,
one person, but from both
yes.
of us and talking about people that we know in common.
Yes, and I love that. So my mind immediately jumped to like, okay, who do I know who is like we are similarly yoked, right? We have somewhat of a similar history in terms of this space, and who I just love talking with. So okay, you came to mind. I'm like, Althea, and so I want to say thank you for being so gracious and joining me because it was so last minute, but I am
And
very
I wanted to say
appreciative.
thank you for asking me. And
Yeah,
this is what yoga is. It's flow.
yeah.
It's just being open to whatever's going to come and
Mhm.
saying yes when the opportunity is there and not making it hard, just going with it. So I was so open to that. Thank you for thinking of me. And I'm glad to have this conversation with you tonight.
Yeah. So first of all, tell people who you are. And once again, I know you, I know your story, but I want people who don't know you to hear from you how long you've been on the practice. We'll do the same kind of go back and forth.
Absolutely.
And
And I'm definitely going to turn it back to you as well, because you know I
yes,
like to interview people too and do a lot of the same work.
yes,
So for anyone that's joining in, hi everyone. I see
yeah.
my son has just tuned in. Hey
All right.
Malik, what's
Okay.
up? So my name is Althea Lawton Thompson. I have been practicing yoga since 1997. Became a certified yoga instructor in 1998 and met some other people that we know in common in a teacher certification in 1999.
Wow.
And at the time that I started Kamiko, it was probably like a lot of our viewers and some of the younger people, very much a physical practice for
Yeah.
me. It was all about how strong am I? What
Yeah.
can I do on the mat? How much can I twist and turn? And can I do this headstand? And can I do a handstand off the wall and one leg? And it really was all physical. And for me, when we start talking about being an elder, 20 plus years practicing yoga, it has become more of a journey off the mat. It is not all about twisting and turning and what can I physically do on a rectangular colored sticky mat as compared to other people in a room. Sometimes it's just being still and quiet on a mountain for 6 complete days in silence and seeing what is the universe saying to me. That is yoga, the yoking together of our physical body, our mental mind, our emotion, our spirituality. And I think being an elder is what gives us the grace to find that in the journey, because we're not at the beginning. We're also not at the end, but we're way into that journey. What about you? How do you feel about your early days of yoga? And then what does it mean to you to be considered an elder?
Yeah. So my early days. So I often share this story. You know, my journey to the mat came shortly after yours, I would say in 1998. So it was actually when my second child was 2 years old at the time. In 1998, my husband found this piece about yoga in our local paper at the time. We were living in New Jersey, and he said, "Oh, he read about this thing called yoga." Yes, I'm beginning the journey of yoga off the mat. So, and that maybe I should try it because I was like, super stressed at the time. I had 2 young children and I was working. We both, 2 incomes, 2 kids, that kind of thing, corporate, and just was, very highly stressed life. So that happened in 1998 where I was introduced to the class. And I will tell you that after the physical practice, because of course, 22 years ago, I was much younger, obviously, and capable in terms of from a different physical perspective. But my favorite part of that experience was the end, was the deep relaxation, was the Shavasana, right?
To lay down, be still, be quiet, it's all over.
Girl, because I had never, ever, even at that stage of my life, I was 32 years old at the time, 34 maybe, somewhere, 30 something, but I had never been still. Didn't even know that concept existed, like just to be still, quiet your mind. I didn't even know that was foreign to me, but it felt so good. I was like, oh my God, what is this thing? And I just kept wanting it. I kept wanting to find that again and again. Yeah.
So you said at the time you were in your early 30s. Let's define maybe what elder is. How old are we? How old are you, Kamiko?
Yeah, I'm 56, soon to be 57 in just a few weeks. Just a few weeks.
Okay, so happy early birthday to you, and congratulations on beautifully aging gracefully.
Thank you,
Beautifully aging gracefully.
Yeah.
I'm 50. I turned 50 a few weeks ago.
Yes, happy.
So this is my golden year.
Yes.
Thank you. And so when we talk about being in our 50s, what do you see being like the biggest change from being in your 30s, coming to the mat in the 90s, to now being in your 50s and coming to the mat? What do you think are the biggest differences?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, I want to go back to what you said, what it means to be an elder. Right. And I just think that being an elder, quote unquote, elder is someone who perhaps I liken the term these days to saying, I'm marinated well seasoned. Like I got a little life under my belt now, and having learned some very valuable lessons, having raised children, just have some things I feel like I can share with others. And that does not mean that I cannot learn from others much younger than me, because I'm a constant student of the practice of life. So what it means to be an elder is just to have, just from a chronological perspective, having lived a little bit longer, right? Yeah. And typically when you can get an AARP card, and they like take the card, right? That's an elder. Like you in the elder state. When I get my senior citizen, like I'm a member of my senior citizen center, right? Like that, right? So yeah, so I embrace this season of my life, right? Now, from then and to now, in terms of approaching the mat, of course, like then, of course, I approach it to how much I can do, how like much like what you said in the very
That's
beginning,
right.
like, oh, I can do that. I can lift my leg. I can do a split. I was a cheerleader in high school. I was always very physically active, right? So I definitely, the physical, the drawing to the mat, finding ways to relieve stress. I felt great in the physical because I personally have always been a person who has loved movement. So,
Right.
so from then I love that. Now, even though I still love movement, I still walk, I still swim when I can. I like to be active, ride my bike if I can, I garden. I do a lot of things from a physical perspective. But I will tell you that my practice has taken me, the more I practice and journey through yoga, I'm more and more slowing down, getting still. I love, the breath work, the restorative aspect, because I understand that if I don't, by slowing down, and I don't want to use the term don't, but by slowing down, by actively engaging and tuning and tapping into my breath, I am adding value, life, sustenance, energy to what I already have. Like I'm pouring back into myself in that way. And so now I look at it like as much as I know I have that strength, I can do these things. And if I want to see what my body's capable of, fine. But I'm not competing. I'm not looking at what somebody else is doing now. I'm like very happy in my skin, very grateful. I mean, yoga has taught me to just live in gratitude. And that's where I am today. I was not living in gratitude back in my early 30s. I was not.
Yeah.
Didn't.
You know what I think might have been the challenge for both of us then, and maybe some of the younger people are finding it to be true for them now as well.
Yeah.
We had young children and we were working in corporate.
Yeah.
It's that hustle, hustle, hustle. I've got so many people to take care of,
Yeah.
so many responsibilities.
Yeah.
And it's not that we don't still have those responsibilities now, but my sons are 22 and 18,
Yeah.
soon to be 23 and 19.
Yeah.
They live on their own.
Yeah.
They're not here.
Right.
One has graduated from college and working.
Yeah.
Some of the pressure is off. Some of the work, go, 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 do is gone.
Agreed.
The acceptance of some things that maybe I didn't accept in my late 20s and early 30s, now I'm more accepting and allowing of now. And something else I noticed, we both have gray hair. I grayed very early. My son, my 22-year-old, he's been gray since he was 17. So it's hereditary for us to gray early. And I didn't accept it in the beginning. I was dyeing my hair until I was 33. But I realized that the graceful aging process, you know how people will say, well, how old are you? And people will say, oh, I'm celebrating 25 again. They're 65 and they're like, oh, I'm turning 25 again.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to say I was younger. I have always been so appreciative of every year that I'm blessed with. And I never feel old. It's just never a concept that exists to me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something that only people who watch Mandalorian and Baby Yoda and Star Wars are going to understand. For anyone who watches Mandalorian and who knows how old Baby Yoda is 50 years old.
Oh.
He's a baby. It took him from birth to 50 to learn the basic skills of what he had.
Yes.
From 50 on, he's becoming a Jedi. He's learning what to do with the skills that he picked up in 50 years. That's what I feel like. I feel like Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Like 50 years, I've just been kind of figuring out, oh, I sit still to do this. Oh, my physical body can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, my mind can do this. And now I'm moving in to the Jedi stage. What do you do with that?
Yeah.
Because
I love
now
that.
I'm accepting of where I am, and I'm not having to take care of babies and young children.
Well, say it again, Althea, because like like my oldest son is 30 now. And my youngest child, my daughter, she's 14. But I'm not about like, and with all of them, there was a period of time when all five were at home. I
Yes,
nursed, I breastfed them all,
absolutely.
diapers, the
Yes,
whole not made all their
yes.
food. It's just a different season. And now I don't have
Totally
all those
different.
things anymore, right? So now I'm able to just focus more on my self-care. We hear a lot about this term of self-care these days. And like you, I don't feel old. People say, "Oh my gosh, you're 57." I'm like, what do you think of
What does it
57?
mean?
What does that mean? What do you think that is supposed to look like? And I even say, "Oh my gosh, goddesses never age." You are a goddess, right? So if you're a goddess, you don't like we know that we chronologically get older, right? But the quality of our life is determined by how we choose to live. And I think we have a lot of
Absolutely.
choice in that. And I know for me, you mentioned acceptance. So this idea of what we control over time, this whole idea, like, controlling things, I was very much like, I always say I'm a recovering control addict. I was crazy. Okay. but I have let go of that. I have become more accepting of what is. And even though it might be hard, it might not be something that I like or agree with, I'm just more easy. I'm more accepting of that,
You're
which
going with the flow.
going with that flow, girl. I love it. That is definitely a state like, and that comes, I think, with living some life in order to even have that perspective, right? I will say that I see a lot of, I encounter, I shall say, a lot of young people, young women. And thank you for your comments. And if you guys have any questions, please don't let us just keep here like dominating the conversation. Feel free to drop a line, drop a comment. I see some of the comments. Love that. Thank you. That's from Melanated Yogi. Yes, Melanated. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We are so glad you're here. We're just trying to speak from what we're told is the elder perspective from this place of yoga, and just in sharing about that acceptance. It has taken me a long time, I will say, and that's the journey, right? That we go through, that like that 0 to 50 years to come to this place of acceptance, this non-judgmental, right? Not judging, right? Because when we judge others, I think that's very much ourselves judging inside, and we project
It
that
is.
out onto other people. So yeah, that's really word for the wise and word from the wise. So I want to thank you for sharing that out there for sure.
And I'm just looking, Kamiko, at some of the comments that are in here.
Yeah.
Someone said she's just beginning her journey with yoga and she's 50 now.
Um,
And that's the point. That is
yes.
the point.
Yes.
Age, what is it? It's
Yes.
not anything. It's
Yes.
whatever you're
It's in
thinking it
the
is in here.
mind. Cause
Whatever you come to that mat with and
yeah.
you learn
Yeah.
today is the lesson for today. There's going to
Yes.
be a whole different lesson tomorrow. And that
Yes.
lesson does not care what our chronological age
It
is.
sure
It
doesn't.
doesn't care the color of the skin.
Sure
It
doesn't.
doesn't care the texture of the
Your
hair or the
hair.
size of the body. It's a
Yes.
lesson for that moment, for that day, for the individual who's going through the journey. For you, for me, for the lady that made the comment.
Yes. And the fact that Linda made she made the statement that, I'm just coming to the mat at the age of 58. Well, guess what? That was the time you were supposed to come, because I believe in
Absolutely.
divine timing, right? Like everything is in divine. The other thing is that this practice is, if people take it back to, we look at the history of like where it came from, and it is thousands of years old and resided, deep years ago in another part of the hemisphere, not even in the Western hemisphere,
That's
right?
right.
It has
That's
traveled
right.
and journeyed over here in late centuries, in more recent history. But if you look at the historical lineage of yoga, the thousands of years old, and if you think about it, being 50 or 57, 56, whatever the case, that's like you're an infant, right? We're all infants in the practice. So if you just came to it 2 years ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, right now, I'm still a very much a baby in this practice. And so I want people to understand that. Just consider that. And when yoga first began many, many years ago, it wasn't even open to women. right? Women weren't practicing yoga. It was, the sages and the wise. The wise were considered men, right? Women weren't even, it wasn't accessible. It's so just keep that in mind, everyone, as you continue on in your yoga journey. I encourage and invite people to learn and study. And in the beginning of yoga always began with the breath, with the
Being
meditation
still
and being
and being
still.
still.
That's exactly
It
right.
wasn't the acrobatic gymnastics that
No,
it is today.
no.
It was sitting very, very still, being
Yes.
quiet, tuning into the breath,
Mm-hmm.
and then going away.
Mm-hmm.
Stop thinking.
Mm-hmm.
All thoughts went away. There was no judgment. There was no
Mm-hmm.
judgment of self,
Mm-hmm.
time,
Mm-hmm.
anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You stopped thinking so that you could connect
Mm-hmm.
with the higher powers and the other abilities that you had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All the layers of who you
The
are,
layer,
all
the
of those
koshas,
lotus leaves.
right? We learned
Yes,
about that, right? The layers. I liken it to like peeling back the onion. Like the first layer is the
that's right.
physical, right? Then you peel back, you go mental, emotional, you go into those deep, deep
That's
layers.
it.
So going within, it requires that you get still, that you tap into your breath. I always say to people, your inner world, there's a whole world going on inside your body.
Galaxies.
A
There are
whole,
galaxies
oh my
going
gosh,
on in
it's
there.
like, so just imagine, like if you could just close your eyes for a minute and just imagine all of the intricacies and the complexities that are going on right now, even as we sit here, as we listen to this conversation, as we watch whatever we're doing. If you can just envision the level of complexity. The human body is the most complex machine on the planet, bar none. There is no man-made machine more complex than the human body, right? And so we have this inner world that is just going on its own, without any thought, without any direction, systems operating through symbiosis, through this sort of symbiotic relationship. One thing triggers another, triggers another, triggers another. And it's all happening without us thinking or controlling the process, right?
We're not
Trying
trying to do
nothing.
anything,
Yeah.
which is why, let's bring it back to the real.
Yeah.
I saw your call today.
Yeah.
I was on another call
Yeah.
with someone in California.
Okay.
I was waiting on a call from an attorney for a legal issue.
Uh-huh.
I had papers all around me, and I said, if she's calling, she needs something. Could you please hold to the person I was on with?
Yes.
Hello, Kamiko. You couldn't tell anything was going on, could
No,
you?
no.
It's so nice to hear from
I
you.
know. And you're always
Just
calm.
going with the flow, going with
Yes.
the energy. And then I
Yes.
said, do you mind if I call you right back? I
Yes.
finished my call. I didn't rush the person I was on with.
Yeah.
I always feel like time is non-existent and
Yes.
everything flows as it should if I don't get in the way.
Althea, that is so beautiful. So Kinga says, thank you, Kinga. This conversation is brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Kinga, for just providing the space and the invitation to be here. We're so very grateful.
Absolutely.
Yes, Althea, that's pretty powerful, the statement that you made, because first of all, the fact that when I called, you answered, right? Like you answered the call. And then with such ease. And that's the other thing. When I know, I'm like, when I even think about you, when I think, how people come to your mind, I just think about this ease. There's just this easiness about you, about your energy, which tells me that you actually walk the walk, right? It's not that you say you're a yogi or that you unroll a mat or that you're in these, whatever fantastic poses. Is that this is yoga. This is how you show up. And the ease and the flow that you show up with is so apparent. It's in your voice. It's in your mood. It's knowing that like the person that came to my mind was Althea. I'm like, who could join me? Let me call Althea. First person I
My
called.
schedule is open. I didn't even have to look at it. I was like, oh yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
done with the attorney by this time. I'll say goodbye to my son on this
Yes.
time. I'll go tune in with Kamiko here.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Here we
It's
are.
just a constant flow of ease.
I love it.
And it's not on the mat. You know,
No.
somebody else made the comment. I think that was our first comment
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
I am just learning. I'm just starting to do yoga off the mat.
Mm-hmm.
And there is purpose to what we do on the mat. But that's part of, I think, when they talk about being an elder in the yoga community,
Mm-hmm.
some of what we're learning is how to say, okay, all of that rigor,
Yeah.
balancing poses, breath work,
Mm-hmm.
kneeling,
Mm-hmm.
lying supine, lying prone, twisting, what it's doing on the mat, we should take those lessons off the mat
Mm-hmm.
and let it be a part of the way we sleep,
Yes.
the way we eat,
Yes.
the way we communicate with one
Mm-hmm.
another, the way I listen to
Mm-hmm.
you and
Mm-hmm.
hear you,
Mm-hmm.
not ready with my response, but hear you, Kamiko, what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're having this flowing conversation, one from the other,
Mm-hmm.
talking about age and children and physical abilities and time not existing in flow. I think that's taking it off the mat. It's
Mm-hmm.
as simple as this conversation and people's
Absolutely.
comments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
Yes.
yes, we have another comment. I always have an easy experience with Althea.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you, Darlena. Thank you, sis.
Yes. Is that beautiful? That is so beautiful. I was just thinking about what you said because I often say that as in, as I'm teaching that what we see on the mat is a direct reflection with how we live in life. So
Absolutely.
when we're tense and tight because something might feel hard, we're usually tense and tight in general. When we struggle with balance, we struggle with balance, right? When we ease into the pose, we ease into situations. So I want to just encourage people to think about that. Think about how in their lives or your own life that your yoga shows up. Because another thing I say I've learned, maybe this is just the elder in me, because all these different things I've learned over time is that yoga is life, right? Yoga is life,
It
and life
is.
is yoga. They are one in the same. So I do encourage anyone who's listening to our voice, to the sound of our voice, just to think about, right? There's no right or wrong. But just be, as you said, Althea, you're able to listen more. You become more observant. You become like you go, because that's that inner work. That's because of the training, I believe, of going in and focusing inward, and then it takes you to that place where you can just not be reactive, but really hear what someone's saying, listen to that, take it in, and then respond in a healthy way versus like, flying off the deep end,
Yeah.
even if it's something that you don't like, right? Even if it's something, if someone's saying something to you that you don't agree with or that you don't like. I mean, this is something I have to practice, and I do all the time, right? And when you have children, we mentioned children, family, other personalities, right? Everybody's not doesn't agree or believe everything you
As
say.
a matter of fact, if they do, that's a miracle in itself. So please tell me when that happens for you, Kamiko, because I don't think it's happened over
Ooh,
here.
child, no. Nope, nope. Just today, I was like, okay, take a breath. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay, right? It's
Something else, since you mentioned the children,
mm-hmm,
um, one of the blessings, I think, of being this age and having a continuous journey with yoga, because I made it my career. I
mm-hmm,
left corporate
mm-hmm.
in 96 and made fitness, wellness, holistic living my entire career, and just never really went back to a corporate job. Um, what I find interesting now is that my sons are men,
Mm,
and now I get to do yoga with them as men, as
mm,
adults. And
yeah,
I get to teach them early lessons I didn't learn until later
yeah,
because they've watched me do it
yeah,
as long as they've been around. I
yeah.
used yoga to give birth to them.
Oh yeah, talk
I
about it,
used
girl. That's a
yoga to
whole yes.
breathe through. I used yoga as a lesson for my younger son with his anger management.
Mm-hmm.
Breathing,
Mm-hmm.
stop,
Yes.
find something to focus on with your
Yes.
eyes. Wait
Yes.
till your heart rate comes down in your anger.
Mm.
Find your words in your head. to now have that journey 18 years
Mhm.
and do yoga in a different way
Yeah.
again now, with a
Yes.
22-year-old to say, okay, now let's read Autobiography of a Yogi,
Yeah.
or the Four Agreements
Mhm.
now, or the Seven Spiritual Laws of Success by
Yes.
Deepak Chopra.
Yeah.
To do that stuff now with a
Yeah.
22-year-old man
Yeah.
that has been on the journey for 22 years
Yes.
is such a dope
It's
experience.
dope.
I can't express it except to someone else
Yes.
who also has children that
Yeah.
are adults
Yes.
that may be having a yoga experience with their own children as
Yeah.
adults.
Oh my gosh. So I definitely want to share some commentary there. So we have a comment here, Justice of A, who says, I breathe before each call at work, being that I deal with many personalities. Yes, that is beautiful. I have to practice my yoga during the call so I won't take on the different energies. And that is so
That's
true,
right.
right? Because we can absorb other people's energies. And that is like beautiful that you practice that. I want to just encourage you to keep doing that. I want to make sure that I'm catching any comments. I don't want to miss anybody's comments.
I want
But
to say hi to Shay. I see Shay has joined us
hi,
and said that
Shay.
she likes
Yeah.
hearing us.
Yeah.
Shay joined me on a yoga and meditation retreat to Costa Rica 2 years ago. So it's
Yes.
great to see
That
Shay
is
on
so
here.
beautiful. Well, great. Great, and thank you for joining, Shay, and for all those who are here listening. We hope that our conversation is just giving or offering you something to take back into your tool kit, your wheelhouse that you can apply into your own life. I want to say too, Althea, you mentioned about being that your yoga has helped you to, give birth to your children. So for me, I discovered yoga after my second child. My husband and I now have five. So the last three were all, I say, born into yoga. And those three in particular, right, were all my home birth babies. So like seriously
Lovely.
applying the yoga practice, the visualization, the ability to birth naturally at home. And I've had, but like my babies were like 10 pounds and with no complications, no medication, no nothing. And yes, it was intentional to be at home. So we had midwives, but they all, in each of my birth stories are very different. But I do know without question that
That's
my
great.
yoga practice, right,
Absolutely.
was really the catalyst and the key for me being able to even successfully bring them forth into the world.
The breath work,
Yes.
the calm mind, the
Mm-hmm.
focus,
Yes.
the physical strength and
Yes.
flexibility,
Yes.
the feeling of I'm pushing this, I'm contracting that, I'm opening that. All of it is yoga.
Yes.
Down to me having rose quartz crystals in my hands,
Yes.
like, breathing and feeling it.
Love.
And the
Yes.
sister that made a comment on here, Darlena, I gifted her my rose quartz from my first and second birth for
Wow.
her third birth, for her third
Yes.
baby. Yeah, but
Yes.
we are continuing this. And that's now I want to talk a little bit about the African ancestry.
Yes.
This is a bit about how we show up a little bit differently in the yoga space.
Yes.
As women and
Mhm.
as women of color,
Mhm.
we come through DNA from a different background. The way we do what we do with each other in a
Mhm.
sisterhood,
Mhm.
you talk about that midwifery,
Mhm.
the sister,
Mhm.
doulas
Mhm.
coming together.
Mhm.
Before Darlena's babies, we had a sister circle where we prayed and we brought crystals, we brought
Yeah.
stones and
Mama
beads.
blessing.
She made bracelets and
Yes.
necklaces. I
Yes.
remember doing a blessing ceremony for
Yes.
her and some other sisters.
Mhm.
That also is a form of yoga, that
Yeah.
yoking together of that energy. So when we take that kind of ancestry and that kind of history
Mhm.
of how mothers and grandmothers and great grandmothers and sisters and aunts do this thing with each other, it comes through us on the mat as well. We show
Amen.
up a little bit differently
We do.
to asana practice, to
We do.
poses, and to flow,
We
and
do.
to breath work. And it does show up in the way that we birth our children if we let yoga be a part of that as well.
I would agree. And I will say that this, and again, this is right into the principle that we are here representing today, that collective work and responsibility. I think in Black communities, African oriented or African centered communities, this comes from our ancestral heritage, this idea of community, right? Like, I know that in African cultures, and this is, you know, what my home birth experience was, particularly with having midwives, sisters, doulas, support, my mother, the sisters surrounding me, the mother blessing. I think this whole idea of, you know, that's just another thing in terms of like Western culture, how we celebrate the baby shower and we forget the mom. It's the mommy showers, right? But in our African cultures, women rally, like the women in the village, they literally like create that circle, pray. They wash, they do the clothes, the laundry, they cook the food. They for 6 weeks, that mama, after she has birth, does zero. All she does is nurse the baby, right? Because women know that women have to regain that strength and energy, that they have to have the energy to even feed and nourish the baby. So what we do from a community, from a collective, that collective work and responsibility, we come together, we support each other, we support the mother. And I see, and that is, right, for me, that is exactly as you said, that is our yoga practice showing up over and over again. And we do show up very, very differently on the mat. And I know this is the same for you too, Althea. When we first began, there were very few, if any, like you were probably the only one in the room, right? Because I didn't see anybody in the yoga space that looked like me for a long, I say, number of years, right? Number of years. There was a long time before I even entered a yoga space that had another Black face in it, period. Right. So I operated in this sort of world, and I kept, you know, I remember trying to say, y'all come with me to yoga, you know, trying to get some of my friends, my sisters, they're like, girl, I ain't, no, But I was like in this world, right, all by myself. But I just kept showing up. And fortunately, I feel like fortunately for me, is that by that continuing to show up, right, like became this example for people in my community. So now we fast forward years later and we see, and I'm so happy to see so many of us, right, that are showing up in our own authentic selves. And I want to just encourage everyone here, just keep showing up, keep being your authentic self, in your Blackness, in your wholeness, keep going into these spaces, because we are the ones we've been waiting for. And you have a community supporting you. Whether they are in that room with you or not, you always have that support. I feel like if anybody wants to call on me or call on Althea, I know our doors, our phones are open. Absolutely. Message us, let us know.
Somebody put a message in here that their daughter is going to start working with you.
Yes, that's Jerry. Yes, so she said, I truly sense my ancestors when I practice meditation and yoga. That's beautiful. And also that's why I'm so excited. Yes, her niece, Jerry, is her niece is going to be doing some training with me, because I also do lead trainings just like you do. Yes, we both do. So, and that's another thing I would say, that to whom much is given, much is required, right? This knowledge that we are given, that we've acquired, it is meant for us to share and to give back, right? That's Again, collective work. That is part of our responsibility, is not to hold it and keep it to ourselves, rather than to share it and give it back so that others in our community can benefit as well.
So this is a perfect time, Kamiko, I think, to share some of what you have coming up. What programs do you have going on right now, and where can people find you if they want to learn more about training with you or connecting with you?
Absolutely. So right here on Instagram, I am known as Harmony Wellness Angels, right? And you can also just Google my name. I'm sorry, not Google. On Instagram, if you searched my name on Instagram, you will find my page, but it is Harmony Wellness Angels. It's all together. It's one word. And then people will see this recording as well, Althea, and our names will be tagged on here. So our tags will also be on here as well. So I am having, actually I'm working with a young lady for a yoga teacher training, and so I do lead yoga teacher trainings. In fact, I had my very first offering that I did after all these years. I finally put together dumped my head, my brain, right? Got my training program together. So we have our yoga teacher training program. I also have a website, harmonywellnessangels.com, by way of yoga. Other people also know that I'm not just a yogi, right? There, we wear many hats. So in my sphere of work and in business, not only do I lead yoga as my service, but I also am a kombucha brew master. So I have a kombucha business and I also brew and sell. And so that you'll find me on Instagram as well under Kombucha, which for my name, Kamiko. So people can find me in two places and even on the web, Google Business. I'm all over. I have a digital footprint. I'm not hard to find. Very, very easy. So by way of
congratulations to you on the certification, the training, the teacher training, because like you said, to whom much is given, much is going to be required. You have a lot of work to do. And there's some shifts going on. You know, the winter solstice, a lot of people, I know it was a joke for some people about the superpowers in 1221. But Kamiko, I think you know, the universe, the ancient ones were calling me to go to the mountains and be silent. They've been calling me since November. And I went for 6 days by myself to the mountains and found a cabin, took my own food, my fruits, my vegetables, lots of blankets, warm clothes, and I stayed in the cabin for 6 days by myself. No electricity, just fire, candles, the fireplace,
Mama Nature,
and I was still in silence. I didn't look at clocks. I took my camera and a tripod. I just wanted to capture the journey through video and photos. And I heard messages about, you know, some energy is rising right now. People are becoming more aware of their abilities through communication, through telepathy, and the ability to know things and feel things and change things and do things. And then I came back home and everyone was talking about Black superpowers. I was like, what? I just found that out on the mountain. I thought, like, you know, my friend came and asked me, I was like, the spirit guides just told me, I didn't know what was happening until I got on social media.
Yes, ma'am. That is awesome.
There's something happening, and it is requiring people who have this knowledge, whether it is martial arts, yoga, Pilates, meditation, Qigong, healthy eating, whatever it is, we've got to start sharing this knowledge.
We do.
That is coming through us.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Althea, I think this pandemic has challenged us and pressed us to do things differently, to like step out of to wake up, to get out of our boxes. I mean, to your point, in the fall, you know, September, everyone, many, I don't want to say everyone, but many people know September is considered National Yoga Month. And so for that month of September, I created these outdoor offerings right here on my property because I'm very much a nature lover, love to be outside. I understand very clearly the connection between Mama Earth and people, right? Human nature, right? You have got, the more disconnected we are from the planet, from the natural surroundings, from, you know, our disconnect of looking up and noticing the planets and the sunrise, and the more disconnected we become, the more dis-ease we see in our society, right? The more we disconnect from the natural way of living, the more issues we have, right? So that September spurred on this these outdoor yoga offerings for our people.
I remember when you said, "Hey, I just finished my first one."
The series was beautiful, and
completely different energy, isn't it?
Completely different.
Doing your yoga.
Yes, and we did two. It was so good that we did 2 additional ones in November in front of live fire, and so we are going to have more of that outdoor offering in the spring for us, because, you know, we know that being out, being in the sun, that will be right. So we're going to have more of those offerings. I want people to know that. So please stay up on us to see where we are with that. But in addition to that, this is the other thing I want to share. Yes. Oh, she says 2020 was the boot camp year. Okay. Yes, yes. I love hanging out and being present in
And
nature.
we were definitely
Yes.
in boot camp.
Yes. Shay says how beautiful your pictures were. And then yes,
And
there's
from the
definitely
mountain,
yes,
yeah,
a
when I did
shift.
that 6 day
Yes.
silent retreat.
So
Thank
next
you, Shay.
so Sunday, and thank y'all for yes, disconnect Shay is dis-ease. That is the truth. Um Sunday coming is January 3rd. And this is what I want people to know. January 3rd is International Mind Body Wellness Day, right?
Beautiful.
International Mind Body Wellness Day. And that is, of course, right after the new year, right after we kick off this new year. I know we have a lot of things coming up. People are doing visioning, vision boards, vision books, just manifestations, we're finding all these different ways, which I think are beautiful to bring in and ring in the new year and, kick off, like start off our new year in a positive way. So I personally, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be back on IG Live on my Harmony Wellness Angels channel with Sacred Waters Wellness, and that her name is Kelly Jo Ray. Yes. So we're going to be, because again, in the wellness space, right? Kelly Jo Ray, she's another amazing, beautiful healer, sister, and friend to me. And so we're going to be partnering up next Sunday, just bringing people a beautiful, yogi offering as well as healing, because Kelly is also deep into crystals and she's just a beautiful, beautiful soul. And once again, I love sharing my community. That's another thing that I do every Saturday. As you know, Althea, you've been a guest on I say one of my uncut gems, because I feel like the people that I know and that I've come to know and grow and learn with are whom I like to call uncut gems. So every Saturday, we have a Saturday Soulful Conversation where we bring in someone from the community who has something to say, something to share. I believe we all have so much to say and so much to share. And I personally am very blessed to know just some, look, you're just
Really
one of them.
dope people.
Some
There's a
dope
lot of dope people
dope
in your
ass
circle,
people.
Kamiko.
Yes, honey. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, I can't keep all my people to myself. I gotta share. I gotta
You
give.
got to share them. We got to share them.
Gotta share. So we're doing that. So we're sharing, we're doing our training. We are doing our conversations every Saturday at 4 p.m. But just as a way to continue that connection with our community, to be sure that we continue to communicate and engage with people, because we want our people to stay engaged, stay connected, to know that if they need something, some kind of support, a conversation, maybe something we say offers a positive, uplifting message for someone that can help them if they're dealing with something very difficult. There's
That's right.
support all around you. So just know that I want people to know that we are a support system. We are all about collective work and responsibility. And there's so much to be done. And we are just out here doing our part. So that's what I have going on. Let's hear. I know you got some beautiful offerings too out there. So please share with everyone what is happening in your world.
Thank you so much for asking, Kamiko. So,
Yes.
like you, have gotten a lot of training programs off the ground. We started some of them in 2018 and 19. But the great thing about 2020, because I don't want to say it was all bad, the
Yeah.
challenge sometimes helps to bring up some really beautiful miracles
Yeah.
that would not have happened
Yeah.
if we were not pushed into doing something completely different than what we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of my trainings, the Reiki 1, 2, and 3, meditation instructor, yoga for corporate wellness, and Pilates had all been in-person trainings
Yeah.
prior to 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I took June or July and took the meditation instructor course, made it an online self-paced course.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I think we've got about 40 people enrolled in that course.
Yes.
Now taking it, we have a Facebook group on the Living Life Limitlessly meditation group, and they are now practicing their meditation live online. So we're teaching people, how do you teach online? How
Mm-hmm.
do you teach an individual? How do
Mm-hmm.
you teach groups? How do you teach little children? How do
Mm-hmm.
you teach elders?
Mm-hmm.
How do you teach to people who are incarcerated?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at different groups from different racial perspectives, different ethnicities, genders, the whole thing, because meditation should be approached a little bit differently for each group. And then next month, el curso de meditación en español. It'll be out next month.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations.
a lot of people don't know. Hablo
Sí.
español. He
Ay,
estado practicando
señora.
español para
Oh,
un
qué
año.
bueno.
So for this whole year,
Bueno.
I've been converting that entire course into Spanish. So it'll be ready for all of our friends in Central, South America.
That's
all of our
awesome.
Spanish-speaking countries.
Y'all hear
So
that? My sister's
keep
bilingual.
going.
She can ready to put it out there in Espanol. You go, girl. Kudos.
Curso de meditación en español. Let's go. Let's go.
Yes, darling. Okay, this is beautiful. Thank you, Althea. We're going to wrap our conversation up. I feel like we could just talk and talk and talk, like just go on and on and on. And I love that.
I really love talking to you, Kamiko.
Oh,
and I
same.
always appreciate when you call on me. So thank you for sharing this evening
My
with me.
pleasure. It has been my absolute pleasure. Like, man, I'm always, so this is what I want to say to people. When I talk with Althea and others very similar to Althea, I feel energized, right? Like I've gained, like I feel like I've taken in all this goodness and it just makes my heart happy. I feel so good. And so that's the feeling, right? So someone said we need to have this was amazing. We need to have it again. How often do y'all have this dialogue? Shay, this was a first time, girl. And I just decided, right, first time, and I just decided, I said, I'm going to pull Althea into this because I don't want to be here talking by myself. I want to bring somebody in who I know has an offering. But I want to say that a conversation should leave you feeling better than when you first began, right? So that's the thing. Like, that's how you know it's good. Yes, we need more of this. It should be a positive experience, a positive exchange. If you leave a person feeling drained and that is not the conversation or the person you should be engaging with, right?
I don't have those conversations anymore.
Don't. Yeah,
I'm done with those conversations.
We don't even do that anymore, right? I don't. So this is what I'm saying. Like when I talk to you, I mean, like it just gets me. I'm like, yes, I feel so good. I feel light. I feel energized. I feel happy. I feel at ease. And those are the types of conversations I want to share with people that you need to have. Yes, that you need to have. Let the people that you engage with uplift you, right? Leave the space that you enter better than the way you found it, right? Give and you will receive. These are the things, I mean, if I'm going to share anything these are just some of my little elder pearls, if you will, pearls of wisdom, right? So when you give, the more you give, the more you receive. I mean, and just, it's a reciprocal exchange, right? This energy.
Without expectation.
That's right. Don't give and expect something.
Wants to give it.
That's
right.
And
then when something comes back, that surprise, that gift is even better than if you were expecting it and wanting it. Yes.
And so Shay, I think Shay and Jerry here are having this conversation. Yes, Shay, it's every Saturday.
They're giving you a shout out. They're talking about your
the social conversations. Thank you so much, Jerry. I appreciate that. We do have a great time. This Saturday, we'll be speaking with a male, which I'm very excited about. And that is Kofi Kasad, the mindful magician. Kofi's another beautiful soul in our community. And so I want to bring him on just to share his experience. And he's a very young brother. That's the thing I love about, so we don't discriminate. We want all ages. And like I said, I'm just so blessed, so blessed to just know and encounter just some really, really beautiful people. So I'm just sharing my people with everyone else, right? Sharing my community, that collective work and responsibility. So I want to thank you, Althea, for joining me. Thank you for taking your time. I appreciate you responding to the call. As always, I just thank you for your beautiful energy, for just your presence, your smile, just everything about you. I really appreciate it. And I thank you so very much. So thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Kamiko.
Yes, ma'am, of course. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. That is the end of our conversation tonight. Tomorrow we'll be back on here for Ujima. We'll be back on tomorrow evening around the same time. I believe it's about 7 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Right back on the BLM Rocket Yoga channel for cooperative economics, which is principle number 4 of Kwanzaa. Thank you so much, Linda. Yes, we'll be back sharing more about the business side of things. So thank you, Althea. Have a blessed and beautiful evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Always a pleasure, and I'll see you soon. Peace and blessings.
Peace and light.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.